You speak out against it. Well, here's the bad news. British Labour Party, that's liberal, like Democrat, British politician Jo Cox has died after she was attacked near Leeds. Police say a suspect is in custody. He shot her and stabbed her. She's a leading figure, leading the Liberals to what they believe is going to be a 5 to 10 point victory for the British to leave the Euro, the Brexit. And she was terminated. Watch, it'll be some mentally ill person on SSRIs who was under government psychiatric control, like Sirhan. We'll see. She was at a public event and she was shot and stabbed. Oh, there's like a total gun ban in the UK, but magically the anti-EU Labour member of Parliament executed with a gun in gun-free jolly old England. I mean, what is the headline on that? British lawmaker killed in shock attack ahead of EU vote. Oh, shock attack. The globalists mean business. You know, today I came on the start of the broadcast with this 5-shot 410 with triple-aught buck handgun. And I walked in to my concealed carry crew and said, it's always important for everybody to be armed, isn't it? But, oh, she was safe in England. They have basically a gun ban. What is it? Less than 1/10 of 1% of the population has shooting clubs where shotguns and hunting rifles are held, and you go and the hunt master lets you get your gun out, and then you all go out and you hunt, and they'll now usually have to have a sheriff or someone along with you. All because of a couple mass shootings they had there. It's not that bad in Australia, but close. And now she's dead. So, anti-EU member of Parliament executed ahead of EU vote. That's your headline. In fact, put that earlier headline up. They got it. Anti-EU member of Parliament executed ahead of Brexit vote. That is simply amazing. In fact, the headline I'm going to go with it on this is exactly that other headline. You guys put that back on screen if you those headlines you just had. Again, for TV viewers, for radio listeners, go to Infowars.com/show. Yeah, I'd say Yahoo News got the headline right. British lawmaker killed in shock attack ahead of EU vote. Now, I would just say this. Leading voice calling for exit from EU executed ahead of vote. Oh, there's nothing suspicious here. Kind of like what happened with Scalia. Everything's fine. Everything's wonderful. Everything's okay. Everybody go back to sleep. This is so sad. And they've been executing nationalists all over the EU. Usually Muslims come up and shoot them or kill them. Even though when they're not anti-Muslim, that's usually the executor, the executioner. A little wind-up toy, because their imam will be controlled by the globalists, and then the message goes down to Habib, that he needs to tell his flock that this person needs to die, and then they die. Oh, they die. Because, see, Islam is natural mind control. And I'm not saying this guy's going to be a Muslim. I'm just saying in a lot of cases it is. Because it's so cultural, it's so controlling, it's all about dying, it's all about, doing whatever you have to. It's all about never getting along with anybody, basically. I mean, I got articles here today in Afghanistan where they have sex slaves, little girls, that are Muslims, that they just grab and force to go out and lure in other Muslims to kill them. They're all just killing each other. This is crazy. Paul Joseph Watson will be on at 45 after. Jakari Jackson's coming in right after this break to talk about social justice warriors. But there's the headline. Taliban uses honey trap boys, little boys too, not just little girls, to kill Afghan police. Because pedophilia and homosexuality is so ubiquitous in Muslim countries, especially Afghanistan. They send out little boys to lure them to their deaths. But just like this Afghan immigrant, his parents are from there. CIA brought him in, admittedly. He goes, hangs out, he's on the gay apps, but then he separately goes and kills them. Because, see, it's okay when he does it. Because as long as he kills them later. I mean, this is just a mental patient cult of total screwballs. We have Paul Watson joining us in about 10 minutes. Jakari Jackson's going to be riding shotgun with us for the rest of the hour to talk about social justice warriors and some of the amazing footage he got out in Atlanta and other areas the last few days. It's now going viral. But the first reports came out 5 minutes ago about this Labor MP, Jo Cox, dies after being shot and stabbed. And some of the first reports were that she was pro-Brexit because most of the Labor Party is pro-exiting the euro, because even liberals realize that you shouldn't have an unelected group controlling your nation. But reportedly, and we have her tweets, she actually said immigration is not a legitimate concern, but it's not a good reason to leave the EU. Again, immigration is a legitimate concern, but it's not a good reason to leave the EU. So she was reportedly on the fence or pro-Europe, and that now they're saying, again, these are tentative reports just now coming out, that whoever shot and stabbed her in the gun-free zone of the UK screamed, you know, don't stay in the Brexit when he attacked her. So is this a false flag to try to turn the polls against the UK leaving the unelected EU? Or is it someone really mad about the fact that a foreign power has occupied their nation? I'm not pushing for violence, and I think this will backfire if it was someone who was misguided, and we're sad for her family. But, you know, the French were occupied by the Germans. This is a political occupation, but still, nevertheless, that's what's happening. And so it's very, very similar to the Vichy French. So at a certain point, if they do take all the delegates from Bernie Sanders and give it to Hillary, do people have a right to get upset and angry? I'm not saying they should do that at this point, but at what point when they start picking the candidates for us, what do we do? I want to put bookends on this until Watson joins us, but we'll also ask Jakari Jackson's view on that. Now, before I go any further here today, we're running a special because Tim Kennedy, one of the top soldiers in the U.S. military, is now an analyst and a reporter for Infowars.com. And so we're very excited about the fact he's been doing a lot of special reports and productions for us all over the world in between hunting Hitler and all the other things he's doing. He's got a movie that he helped produce that's premiering on 800 movie screens, Range 15 tonight as well. A lot of actors I really like William Shatner and others. But that's a side issue. Tim Kennedy's Game Changer, 15% off the 3 products he loves. That's Super Male Vitality, also Super Female Vitality goes for that. Brain Force, and of course the Secret 12, Vitamin B12, Organic Sublingual Drops. All of those together are 15% off, or by themselves 15% off at InfoWarsLife.com, or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. That's 888-253-3139. And the money we make from this obviously makes everything we're doing here possible. We want to get a few more reporters, a few more editors, video people, and crews, so we can really always have crews out there, like in Dallas today for the Trump rally coming up at 7 o'clock tonight for the news, and like the EU and covering the Brexit at Bilderberg with 3 reporters, or just pretty much all the time we've got reporters on the ground with this crew we've built. Jakari just got back from Atlanta, so thank you all for your support at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsStore.com is the umbrella site. All Alexa Pure Water filters are 20% off right now with specials running, InfoWarsStore.com, and so much more. But from solar base station power supply units, the very best out there at the lowest prices, to you name it, they're all available at InfoWarsStore.com. Okay, shifting gears here in a moment, back to what Jakari Jackson has been covering. He just got back from Atlanta, Georgia, really got a whole bunch of amazing videos that are going viral right now that really just tell us more of the same story over and over again, that the Black Lives Matter groups, the Bernie Sanders groups, the liberal groups, the socialist groups, it's just like the Mark Dice videos or the videos we shoot in Austin. I'm sorry. You go to a supposed liberal area, a university area, they a lot of times don't even know what planet they're on. And they really are angry and feel wronged and will run up particularly to, quote, minorities. A lot of times white people do this to Hispanics or black folks and say, what are you doing here? He's racist, he's bad, he's evil. Even if you don't like Donald Trump, they've been misrepresenting what he really says and what he does. And Jakari got footage of arrests that were made, just all sorts of stuff there in Atlanta. We're going to have, again, 2 of our reporters up there tonight in Dallas. We'll have live feeds on the nightly news, 7 o'clock Central. Find details at Infowars.com/show. But Jakari, before we play a few minutes of this 10-minute viral video. Obviously, there's a lot when you're out there with a camera that people don't see. What is your sense of covering these events?
Well, with this one in particular, it was a much calmer event. I know we showed some of the footage of the arrest right there, but this pales in comparison to some place like Albuquerque, where people were lighting fires and throwing barricades and all.
You got hit in the head with a rock.
Yeah, I got hit in the head with a rock. So this was a much calmer crowd. It was a much smaller crowd as well. If you take away all the journalists, I'd say there were maybe 300 or 400 people there at any given time, as opposed to someplace like Albuquerque or Anaheim where you had thousands. So it was a much calmer situation, but tempers did flare, and that's some of the footage that we have coming up. This one thing in particular, it was a conversation between an older gentleman and a younger guy. I think the younger guy was about 16 or so, and he was a Trump supporter, young black man. And the older guy comes up to him. He says, "You're a disgrace." And I run into this a lot. When we went out to Albuquerque, there's a similar thing where Latinos were yelling at each other. You're not, a real Latino if you support Donald Trump. And they're saying a similar thing to this young black man, saying that you're not a real black person if you support Donald Trump. Now, it wasn't don't support any of these candidates. It was like, you don't support Donald Trump, but you have to support Hillary. And I'm like, why would I want to support Hillary? Miss saying she wants to go out and put hot sauce on all of her food, very racist statements like that. Completely ridiculous, but he was very convinced that Hillary Clinton was the person for the nation, even to the point where they criticized Trump. And as you were mentioning there, Alex, if you want to criticize the guy, there's legitimate ways to do it. But when you say that Trump wants to send black people back to Africa, I have never heard him say or even allude.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to play this clip for over 2 weeks. I keep forgetting to play it. It's the little Jewish kids. Can you guys pull up the brainwashed kids clip for later, where they just keep saying, "I'm Jewish and he hates Jews"?
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever heard Trump say, "Send Africans to Africa"?
No, and that's what these people do. They'll take a grain of truth where he says he wants to send people who came here illegally, keyword illegally, back to their homelands or whatever, and you can have your feelings about that. But the issue is they so stretch this out of proportion. Even when they talk about Hispanics coming into the country, they say he wants to send all Hispanics back to Mexico. Well, number one, they're not all from Mexico. Beyond that, he didn't say he wants to send them back if they came here legally, if they've been here legally.
And he said make a faster path for them to legally come here.
Yeah.
But you can't just say, we capitulate to 30, 40 million people. You're just legal now.
And that's what these guys don't understand. And the guy in the video had clearly no understanding of immigration policy, to the point where he's talking about Trump's wife needs to go back to wherever she's from. And people are saying she came here legally. There's a way to legally enter the United States.
That's another thing about Trump. His family is married to people from all over the world, Asian folks, you name it. He has one of the highest levels of putting, quote, minorities and women in executive positions. That's why he's got so many people that actually work for him coming out and defending him. And people have looked at the numbers. It's true. So the truth is, when it comes to this, they're totally making it up, and they're trying to basically just play on people's ignorance, hoping they don't know what Trump really said. But another thing is, this older gentleman that's yelling at the young Trump supporter, he's got a rainbow flag on. He's speaking with a lisp. I mean, he looks like, he's a classic effeminate gay man. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But he's wearing a rainbow flag, probably is. And you just saw 49 gay people murdered. Trump is out there saying this is terrible, this is horrible, you shouldn't attack people for their sexual preferences. The Muslim leaders are not apologizing. He's not mad at them. He's mad at Trump. He just doesn't seem to get it.
That's absolutely, you hit the nail on the head right there, Alex. I ran into so many people out there who were basically blaming Trump for what happened in Orlando. I'm like, how is that Trump's fault that a person took it upon himself to go into a gay bar and kill people?
Wait a minute. I haven't seen those videos yet. You've got video where they blame Trump for Orlando?
This is just people walking around talking.
God, I wish you had that on, because I've seen that in emails and see comments, but I want to ask him. He's the guy that's trying to stop this. Wow, you actually heard that?
Yeah, these are opinions of people. They want to blame him for everything. Everything is this man's fault.
Oh, I've seen people in Albuquerque blaming the economy on him.
Yeah. And I'm like, the guy's he's not even a politician.
He's never even been in office.
I was like, how's that his? I mean, these guys, when we went out to Albuquerque, these 20-year-old or whatever Bernie supporters, they were blaming this guy, Donald Trump, for things that have been going on their entire lifetimes, and the man's just now becoming a politician. How is any of this stuff Donald Trump's fault?
That's what's incredible.
Or hate him, you're blaming him for stuff that he has nothing to do with.
I've got a concern with him putting this tweet out to the NRA saying he wants to talk to them about banning people from having guns.
Yeah, I heard
they're on a no-fly list. If he's saying that, do you think I'm misinterpreting that tweet? Or
cold text is not the easiest thing to interpret, so we can wait and see what he actually has.
He needs to clarify it.
I would say I would behoove him to clarify that statement.
Are you going to be concerned if he does want to just randomly ban people?
Absolutely, because you and I both know this, Alex, that we've seen multiple times young children being put on